Hello, welcome to the European Open briefing for Monday, March the 19th. I'm Rafi Barajan, currency analyst at xm.com, and we're going to be taking a look at what's happening in the currency markets today. The US dollar is a little bit firmer at the start of an important week where we have the Fed policy meeting. The dollar was boosted by upbeat US data on Friday. However, the yen is still enjoying broad strength today. We do have a little bit of risk off in the markets. The euro continues to drift lower. It's fallen below the key 1.23 level. The pound, though, is flat compared to Friday's close. It's going to be a very important week for sterling as well. We've got a number of UK data, Bank of England meeting, and the EU summit, all potentially impacting the pound. The Canadian dollar, though, is not doing so well. It's slumped to a near 9-month low, but we did see a bit of a jump in oil prices on Friday due to some tensions between Saudi Arabia and Iran. But before we get started, let's have a quick look at the markets. We can see the euro is slightly lower. The pound is marginally edging upwards. The dollar index is also marginally higher, but is down against the yen. The Aussie and the Kiwi both down on that risk off, and so is the loonie. Gold prices, though, are down on the expectations of US Fed rate hike this week. If you look at stocks, we can see that there was a bit of a rebound in US stocks on Friday, but to this morning, Asian stocks were mixed. Japan, in particular, closing lower, but we did see other indices in Asia closing upwards after a weak start. In Europe, though, we can see all major indices have opened around 1% lower. Let's get started then with the dollar. We can see dollar yen has been heading lower since mid-March, although on Friday, we can see that bounce there from strong US data. We saw US industrial and manufacturing output unexpectedly jumping in February, and we also saw the University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Survey, the preliminary reading, hitting a 14-year high in March. There is a little bit of caution ahead of the Fed policy meeting, which starts tomorrow. We're going to get that announcement on Wednesday, but we can see dollar yen. It's kind of struggling. It eased back below the 106 level due to the yen benefiting from that slight risk off, as well as Japanese political scandal. We also have the G20 meeting of finance ministers starting today in Argentina, where we're likely to see some headlines regarding US trade policy. Let's move on now to the yen. We can see here the yen against the euro and the Aussie has been appreciating significantly. You can see euro yen currently trading just below the 130 level, and Aussie yen having fallen to around 81.50 at the moment. So it's a mixed start for global equities. But we do still have that political scandal in Japan putting into doubt the future of Abenomics. Weekend polls in Japan show the 14% slump in the popularity of the Japanese Prime Minister. This potentially means that when we have that leadership vote for his party later in the year, they may not re-elect Shinzo Abe. We could also the future of the finance minister is also in doubt. So that could mean Japan may no longer be benefiting from ultra loose fiscal policy if Abe's leadership is in doubt, or his position weakens, or he's no longer leader of the party. We did see, though, the release of the Bank of Japan summary of opinions for the March policy meeting. In the summary, we did see policymakers reiterating the need to continue pursuing powerful monetary easing, though that didn't really do anything to relieve the upside pressure on the yen this morning, and really for much of the past couple of weeks. If we take a look at the euro now, we can see the euro is also drifting lower against the dollar as well. It's fallen below the key 1.23 level, currently trading near lows of 1.2256. That's 2-week lows. On Friday, we saw the Eurozone inflation for February being unexpectedly revised lower from 1.2% to 1.1%. So that also hurt the euro somewhat. And the next likely trigger for potentially upside moves could come from flash PMIs later this week, or it could even drag the euro even lower. The pound, though, is going to have a more important week. On tomorrow, we're going to have the UK inflation numbers. On Wednesday, we're going to have the jobs report, and those will be followed by retail sales on Thursday. We're also going to have the Bank of England policy meeting on Thursday, where the bank may signal a possible rate hike in May at their next meeting. But perhaps the more important one will be the EU Council meeting on March 22, 23, where EU leaders will decide whether or not to give the UK a transition implementation period. This is going to be very important for UK businesses to provide them with some certainty, and also going to be important because if there's no transition deal, the Bank of England will likely not raise rates at their May meeting. Sterling, though, did see a bit of a dip on Friday after that strong US data before recovering somewhat. It's currently trading around 1.3930. And moving on to the Canadian dollar now. The Canadian dollar is not having a very good time for the past couple of weeks. We can see it's been steadily depreciating against its US counterpart. It did hit an 8.5 months low of 1.3124 earlier today. It's currently trading just shy of those lows at 1.3121. So there's a bit of a double whammy for the loonie. We've got the trade friction with the US, as well as the fading expectations of a near-term rate hike by the Bank of Canada. On Friday, we saw manufacturing sales in Canada dropping by a bigger than expected 1% in February. So this has basically acted as a further indication that the BOC will likely take a pause before raising rates again, plus the uncertainty surrounding the future of NAFTA, that's still weighing on the loonie. So things are not looking up for the loonie at all, despite the fact that on Friday we did see a strong jump in oil prices. That big jump came after an interview with the Saudi Crown Prince, where he attacked the Iranian leader. So that was a little bit of a adjustment of trading positions ahead of the weekend following that interview, but prices have eased since then, especially as the Baker Hughes oil rig count on Friday out of the US showed another increase in US oil rig activity. For now, though, WTI is trading just below $62 a barrel. It had touched a 1.5-week high on Friday, and Brent crude had risen to more than a 2-week high. The rest of the day will be fairly quiet. We did see Japanese export data earlier in the morning coming in slightly below expectations. We're also going to have Eurozone trade numbers as well as a speech by Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic at 13:40 GMT, and of course possible headlines coming out of the G20 meeting. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.